I'm going to get us started. Welcome and thank you for joining our webinar, Salesforce Winter Release Highlights. My name is Kim Anselmo and I will help facilitate our webinar today. But before we get started, let's go over a few tips on using the Zoom platform so that you can engage with our presenters and have the best experience possible. So you should see a Zoom toolbar with icons for ask a question, chat, and raise your hand. And you can use the ask a question or chat to submit a question throughout the webinar. If you need assistance at any time, click on the raise your hand button and I will connect with you to help out. So we do encourage you to ask those questions throughout the presentation and we will do our best to answer them as well. If we do not get to a question that you asked, we will certainly follow up with you after the presentation. Also, if you experience any audio issues, you can access your audio settings and test your audio while you're already in the webinar. You'll see it at the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom meeting toolbar. You'll find either the headphone or microphone logo, and you can click Join Audio or Mute and Unmute. You can click the Join Audio to connect or change your audio setting at any time as well. And also just to let you know, we will go ahead and record today's session and we will be sending out the PowerPoints as well afterwards. So, and with that, I'm going to introduce our presenters today. We have Turner Jones and Caitlin Zinda. Unfortunately, Chris Stiegel had a family emergency and will not be able to join us this morning, but we are in great hands with Turner and Caitlin, so I will hand it over to them.
Perfect. Thanks, Kim. So my name is Turner Jones. I'm a senior consultant and a Salesforce solution architect here at Armanino. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 5 years. I'm a certified application architect on the platform, and I'm also a CPA in Texas. Caitlin?
Hi, everybody. My name is Caitlin Zinda. I'm a senior Salesforce consultant here at Armanino. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for a little over 6 years, and I'm one of a few lovely consultants here at the firm, and I'm really looking forward to presenting to you guys today. So thanks. So a brief overview about Armanino. We are actually located all across the United States in places like California, Texas, Washington, Idaho, Colorado, Canada, and Illinois. We have over 1,500 employees, and we're the 21st largest CPA and consulting firm in the nation. We're one of the top partnerships with technology partners, and our purpose is to be the most innovative and entrepreneurial firm that makes a positive impact on the lives of our clients, our people, and our communities. We offer a variety of different consulting services. If you'd like to learn more about that, please let us know, and we're happy to provide that to you. And you can go ahead and move on to the next slide, Kim.
All right, so why Salesforce and Armanino? So Salesforce, the Salesforce ecosystem is made up of a ton of partners. And Armanino is one of the Salesforce partners. By partnering with Armanino, though, you really do get a Salesforce team that provides access to strong experience in the Salesforce ecosystem and beyond. We really specialize in end-to-end solutioning and deployment of lead-to-cash processes. And we do that really leveraging our knowledge of not only CRM, but ERP, procurement, and FP&A to really optimize that lead-to-cash flow. So with that collective knowledge, we really do help our clients across their entire tech stack, all the way from lead capture in Salesforce, all the way to financial reporting in their ERP or FP&A tool. One of our main focus area right now on the Salesforce platform is Salesforce CPQ. So Salesforce CPQ is a really powerful tool that can help streamline quote generation and can significantly shorten your quote to cash process. And then our ultimate goal across the Salesforce platform is really to help you maximize the value that you're getting from your Salesforce system. So we all know that Salesforce is not the cheapest tool. So by partnering with someone who knows how to effectively use the system, you can really maximize the value that you get from your Salesforce system. So in addition to CPQ, we also have extensive experience with the traditional Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and then also really robust experience with Nonprofit Cloud as well. So today, these are our learning objectives for today. So we're going to introduce some functionality that's come from Salesforce's winter release 22. This is by no means a comprehensive list. This is just to kind of give you a taste of some really cool functionality that's come out. So we're going to explain what that functionality is and demonstrate why it can matter to you and your team and to your business. So today we're going to focus on some general functionality that's come out, Sales Cloud, Nonprofit Cloud, and Service Cloud. We're going to start off with a few polling questions just to get an idea of who we're presenting to. This is I think this is our second release webinar that's come up this year, and we just want to know, for future reference, who our audience is. So, so how long have y'all been using Salesforce is our first question.
Great. Turner and Caitlin, I'm going to close out the poll here in just a moment. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to end the poll and share your results.
Nice. So pretty split.
Mm-hmm. We got a lot of newbies and we got a lot of people that are pretty experienced. So great.
Excellent. And we have one more poll question.
And then what best describes your role at your current organization?
And we just about have everybody answered it. So I'll go ahead and close the poll in 3, 2, 1. And share results.
Nice. So heavy on the the sales side and the finance side, which is great.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm going to hand it off to Caitlin to start us off with the general functionality.
Yeah, so today I'm going to go over just some general functionality that's available across all Salesforce platforms. Kim, go ahead and go to the first slide. Perfect. So I'm going to go over dynamic gauge charts. So dynamic gauge charts are a really cool way that you can track your business goals. But up until now, they've been pretty static. You basically could only measure it off of one goal. And in this example, on the left-hand side, you'll see that it's based off of the sum of the amount. However, with the new dynamic gauge chart features, you can actually pull information from charts that you've created. In the example on the right, what I'm doing is I'm showing you that it's totaled by the sum of the amount, but it's looking at a specific account. This is perfect if you have an organization and you're trying to track the metrics on specific larger accounts when you're doing sales. You could actually base your report off of one account and you could see how it's doing measured across the board with your total revenue. Really exciting, really cool new feature. I think a lot of you will really be able to benefit from this since you're specifically working in the sales environment. Great, go ahead and move to the next slide, Kim. So dynamic interactions, this is another really cool feature. Basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to create interactive components on designed apps. You will need a developer for this, but it's a lot more easy to use once the developer creates the components. In this example from Salesforce, it's actually Yelp. And what Yelp did is they actually have it to where when you click on an account, it maps out and shows where that account lives. This is another cool feature that would be great for sales reps to be able to see where their accounts are located. And also on the right-hand side, it gives a list view of some micro information about the accounts that they're viewing. So just another cool and creative way to have these interactions for your sales reps and for your team so they can see specific information that pertains to them, but also while allowing like field updates to happen and just small changes like that. So another really, really cool feature. All right, so inline editing with reports. I'm really excited about this one. Previously, Salesforce released this, but it was pretty limited to text and numeric fields. But now what you can actually do is you can edit the date, pick list, and lookup fields. If you are using Salesforce now, you might be familiar with list views where you can go in and you can edit the fields there. But what's cool about with inline editing for reports is if you're looking at a report every day and there's stages that need to change, or you need to change an owner, or you need to change small information, you can actually do that directly from the reports page, which I think makes things a little bit easier for you guys and saves you some time. So I was super excited about this. Just to point out, the fields that are not supported still are tasks and events, system fields, formula fields, encrypted text fields, and then like auto number, roll-up summary, and then long text area fields. All right, so Salesforce Flow Enhancements. We are going to be sending out a demo video that kind of goes through each one of these because it's a little bit more extensive. Also, for you newbies that haven't been using Salesforce, this is probably going to be a lot to process. But flow enhancements make people's lives easier. They allow processes and automations to happen behind the scenes when records are being updated or created. Just a really cool thing to utilize if you are an admin or if you have extensive sales processes that you would like to simplify and make easier. So a few of the flows that are coming to date are visual debugging, async support, really cool customizable list views. You can invoke subflows now from create and edit flows, and then you can send outbound messages. Again, I don't want to get too much into the weeds with this, but just some really cool stuff happening with flow enhancements. So now I'm going to talk about the Salesforce backup and restore. So currently what a user has to do is they have to schedule a weekly data export or a monthly data export to pull out information from Salesforce. But in order to able to back up metadata, you have to do something completely different. It's very complicated and it's not really the most efficient process. But what Salesforce has done is they've created their own native backup and restore solution. So this allows you to not only back up your files and your data, but you're actually able to back up custom objects and metadata. So fields that you've created with all of that great information, so you don't have to go back in and recreate them again. Super, super efficient. And you can restore and back up data from previous defined orgs. So if you have something that you want to back up and restore from a few months ago, you're able to do that very seamlessly. A lot of people are very excited about this. Salesforce actually just announced it, and it should be available to everybody by the end of October. So yeah. Another cool, not super crazy update is that you can now sort upcoming and overdue activities. So you can show your upcoming activities in an order that makes sense to you. It used to be that you could only show the oldest item at the bottom, but now you can actually move that to the top. So just another way to organize your activities and be a little bit more efficient if it makes more sense to you that way. Another feature is the Salesforce mobile app. So what's fun about this is that you can even get even more customized with your app. I know that for a long time it's been very basic. There hasn't been a lot of things you can change, but now you can actually pin specific information that's relative to you. There's available cards to use. You can pin reports, you can pin your calendar, you can even pin Salesforce events, tasks, and even some of your favorites. So they're just making the app itself more flexible and more customizable to your needs. I think that for sales reps specifically, this is going to be great because when you're out in the field or you're just out and about at a meeting, having the important information right at the top, I think makes more sense than what's already there right now. So pretty exciting. And I believe this is the last one as far as general functionality goes, but multi-factor authentication will be required starting February of next year. If you're familiar with multi-factor authentication, it's something, it's like when you're logging in from a different browser that your computer doesn't recognize or your phone doesn't recognize, when you're trying to get into Gmail or even trying to get into Salesforce, you get sent a code and you have to confirm that you are who you say you are. Well, now Salesforce is going to be requiring that. It's pretty easy to be caught up to speed and be compliant with that. Salesforce actually offers a free app you can download, and it's that simple. If you are using single sign-on, you can enable MFA, and then you should be good to go. No issues there. If you can't enable MFA or you don't enable MFA, you'll actually be out of compliance with Salesforce's obligations. So you might need to contact your legal team if you decide that's not a route you want to take. So that's all I have to say about that slide. And now I'll pass it off to Turner.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. All right, so now we're going to dive into Sales Cloud enhancements. So one of the big or some great functionality that came out in the last release is called pipeline inspection. So I'm going to give you like a little taste of what that is. So pipeline inspection is a powerful tool that got introduced in summer 21, and it gives managers and reps a new way to help manage pipeline. It's actually got embedded AI in it as well to really help managers stay on top of the current health of the business and highlight recent deal changes and so they know where to focus their time. So if you look on this screenshot, you can see that, so we're looking at opportunities closing this month, just that are owned by my team. So I'm the manager in the sales department. I have my role set up so that I've got my team reporting to me up into Salesforce, and you can see on the screenshot that using AI, since the last time that I looked at this pipeline, I guess, you can see that the amounts that changed or that went up, you can see the green arrows and they're highlighted green. You can see close dates that have pushed or that have unpushed, I guess. And then you can see changes in stages. So this is super powerful. You know, going to sales meetings every week, it's hard to know what has changed from the last time. Everybody struggles with that. So this really gives you a comprehensive, quick view and allows you to focus time on skills that are like sluggish, that keep pushing, or you know, things in the red, I guess. So if we go to the next slide, Kim, we'll talk about what they have pushed out in this release. So just like normal objects and tabs, pipeline inspection now you can create list views. So you can really hone down on just the opportunities that you want to see. So you can see in this case, they've got one for like new business. Maybe you just want to see opportunities that you own or opportunities where you're part of the team. And you create these just like you create a list view currently in Salesforce. They've also added a feature that allows you to flag opportunities. So if there are opportunities that have become like problems or that your salespeople are having a hard time or that you want to make sure that you are up to speed on what's happening with it, you can actually flag them so that they will show up at the top and on your list views. And there we go. There's also a new feature called to help you kind of figure out what deals are unlikely to close this month. And it actually uses Einstein Deal Insights. So it actually uses like data science and machine learning to provide relevant updates and suggestions to help you win more deals. So it actually goes and analyzes patterns in your data to build a data model and give you this information. So it'll go and look at all of your standard opportunity fields, your record history, email and calendar data, if your Einstein activity capture is enabled. And it refreshes the data model like twice a day. So it is constantly throughout the day going and checking on your opportunities. And then another thing that's come out is this tiered scoring model with Einstein activity capture. So last part of this came out last release. That you can see what it's how it's scoring your opportunities. So the higher the score, the most likely it is to be won. It's still using the information from your past opportunities, both closed won and closed lost to build that scoring model. And it goes and looks at all of your opportunity record details. It looks at the accounts as well. So like with this one, you can see the top positives here are past wins with this account. So that gives it a score boost. Another score boost in this case was it moving quickly from a previous opportunity stage. But it's also looking at details about related products, quotes, and your price books. So if a product is selling really, really well right now, that would also even give it a boost. If you don't have enough information for Salesforce to build its own data model, there's actually a global data model that it can use, which uses anonymous information from a lot of different Salesforce customers, which is pretty cool. So you can actually start using this right off the bat, even if you don't have that information for Einstein to build that model specific for you. But the great thing is that it is AI, so it's always getting smarter and it's learning based off your information. Cool. And then our last couple enhancements on pipeline inspection. So is now a new function on the next step field. So you can see, if you're a manager, you can see the last time that, or if you're a salesperson, you can see the last time that an opportunity's next step was updated. So you can stay on top of stale opportunities, basically. And it brings it right to your attention, which is great. It's also tracking how many times close dates are pushed out. So if you have an opportunity that just keeps getting pushed out more and more, it will bring that to your attention. All right, so the next function or next functionality that we're going to talk about is a new forecast category. So Salesforce has added a 5th category called most likely. So before it was just pipeline, best case, commit, and then close one. And we've added a new one. We've added a new one that is most likely. So this is going to allow you to use a new category in your forecasting model. So and really reflect your business practices in collaborative forecasting better. So you can't add your own forecast categories. It's one of the few things in Salesforce that is not as customizable as some would like. But it is now included in your standalone pipeline metrics, and it gives you that roll-up information on the pipeline inspection that we just went over. All right, restriction rules. So if if Salesforce's permission structure was not already complicated enough for you, it can be even more complicated, which is great. So with restriction rules, you can implement these on top of your existing permission structure. So if you see over on this section or this left graphic, you start off with your organization-wide defaults. So like what your baseline is for your users. Then you can put them in a role hierarchy. You can share things. You can then add sharing rules to grant access to records for specific people, and then you can even manually share, right? So once you add restriction rules on top of that, you can actually restrict on top of everything that I just said. So the the initial function that I think this is going to be really helpful with is restricting access to tasks and events. So currently, on an account or contact, if you have access to that account or contact, you can see all tasks or events, no matter what. That's just how Salesforce works. But after you add a restriction rule, you can actually restrict tasks and events sharing. This is going to be really helpful with if you are an organization that has really heavy task usage, you can go to a contact now and it's probably just covered in tasks, it's hard to even digest what you're looking at, right? Find what you're looking at. When was the last time somebody talked to them? I have no idea. So with this, you can actually restrict it like by department even. So if you're in service and you just want to see service events or tasks that have happened, you could restrict it that way. You could also restrict it for sales, for finance, that kind of thing. So restriction rules currently are not available for all standard objects. So they are available for tasks, events, and contracts. But they are available with all custom objects. And it works a little bit differently than, it works a little bit differently than your normal permissions. Generally with Salesforce, you grant permission to something. With this restriction rule, you're actually taking it away, which is going to be really helpful, I think, for a lot of organizations. All right, so the next feature we're going to talk about is called Einstein Search, and it's actually been enabled for you by default at no extra cost. So you've probably seen it even at this point, and are probably even using it if you've been in Salesforce. So there's three main features that come with it. So personalization is returning relevant search results based on each user's activity, which is nice. And it now includes natural language search. So just like you can use Google to like help me find a coffee shop near me, so the Salesforce search will actually interpret that natural language and turn it into queries for your search results. So I'm interested to see how people are going to, how that's going to translate into Salesforce. So this Einstein search is actually also one of the most widely used features in Salesforce, and there's over 1 billion searches a month right now. So that's only going to go up. And Salesforce has done some research, and they're expecting a 50% productivity lift. And really, that is around the ability to edit a record directly from search. So you don't even have to go into a record anymore. And you can access related lists and related objects off of that search record. So the next feature we're going to talk about is related to Salesforce Maps and territory planning. So Salesforce has increased the number of assignments you can have for territories. So they're up to 5,000 assignment roles now to help support larger teams. They've also added in a more intuitive setup experience. So you can have, so as you're adding those 5,000 assignment roles, it's a lot easier. They've also reduced the amount of custom code and Apex that you're going to need to assign those. Another pretty cool feature that Salesforce has come out with Salesforce Maps is the ability to overlay certain like census data on top of your territories to help you identify different like sales opportunities or areas that you might want to focus on. So this has got the example of a data layer called the demographic context, and it's actually using the household income, or I think the median household income by zip code, to help you identify areas that you might want to focus on, all within Salesforce. So you can actually overlay your, if you had address or zip code information for your leads or opportunities, you could actually overlay this to see what your, just to have that analysis, I guess, of the geographic distribution of your opportunities, and then figure out the areas that they are in. So the next feature that's come out with Salesforce Maps is optimizing for remote business. So we all know that we've switched in the past couple of years to a remote model for a lot of people. So with this switch, you can actually design territories with a mix of contiguous and non-contiguous areas for territory planning. So you can see from the first picture down to the bottom picture, the territory or the split of the orange and purple territories now. So Salesforce actually will support that. You can limit assignments within an area so that you can make sure that your reps have time to meet people internally or meet with them virtually. And you can assign more or fewer units to containers so that you can focus on specific areas. Cool, and now we're going to turn it over to Caitlin to talk about Nonprofit Cloud.
Sure, that was great. I know that we don't really have anybody in the nonprofit world on this call, but I'll go ahead and just talk over these briefly. That way, anybody who watches it later will at least get a taste of what's happening on the nonprofit side of things. So go ahead and go to the next slide, Kim, please. So there is Marketing Cloud in general, and it's great. It's super robust. It offers a lot of great email capabilities, advertising capabilities, even syncs with Google Analytics. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with Marketing Cloud, but now they've created it for nonprofits. And some of the great things about Marketing Cloud for nonprofits is that it comes with some awesome pre-built templates, basically designed for subscribers, volunteers, donors, and just really focused on the nonprofit side of things. Another cool thing is that you can do data segmentation. So you could create emails that were taking a look at like the amount of donations, say for people who donated $100 or more, I want them to get this email. But for people who donated, $5,000 or more, I want them to get this email. So it feels a little bit more personalized. People feel like you're speaking more to them. And it's not just like a wide reach email that people feel like is super generic. So just two really cool features happening in Marketing Cloud for nonprofits. So Salesforce Elevate. So Salesforce Elevate is a really cool tool that Salesforce came out with recently that nonprofits can use to get donations. And there's a lot that comes along with it. They can get, they can create giving pages. They can actually integrate their payment service into the actual website. They can manage all their recurring donations. And they can just send personalization to their donors to receive more donations. And one of the ways that they're doing that is by adding in customizable ask ladders. So you can actually adjust the numbers for the amount that you're asking for, and you can actually make information be default whenever you send it out. So if you want, for example, it to say that they're going to be a reoccurring donor, you can actually have that selected. And then they do have the option to change it, but you can have that information already predefined. Their first name, their last name, all the easy stuff. That way, all they have to do is press pay, and then you'll receive their donation. So just an easier way to ask for donations and to work with constituents. So. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is program management. Again, this may not apply to a lot of you, but basically with program management, what they've done is they've added in a way for you to proactively stay engaged with clients or participants who are at risk to attend or participate at an event. Program management is a really cool tool that nonprofits use to track metrics on services that they're providing, as well as, for trainings and other things they're providing out in the community to see who's been attending those trainings. And what this allows them to do is it allows them to create case plans for those attendees or for those programs that aren't doing so well. So just another really cool feature. And that's actually all that I have to cover with program management. So with that, I'll hand it off to Turner to cover Service Cloud.
Thanks. Let's hop into it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is service setup. So service setup is a tool that came out in a previous release that they are continually making improvements to. So for new orgs or even existing orgs, it really does offer an out-of-the-box solution. So it quickly helps you generate those queues, macros, flows that will help you streamline your workflows, and then help you optimize high-use page layouts and set up quick text and case email notifications as well. It also helps you to quickly onboard people. And really does cut down the time of adding new users, which is great. So Service Cloud is really powerful. It's a highly customizable tool for customer service. Within a few minutes, though, your agents can really start using a service app that boosts their productivity if you start with the service setup. So in winter 22, they actually added Salesforce surveys to this assistant. And what it does is it turns on and enables Salesforce surveys and then gives you 2 templates that you can use to help you measure customer satisfaction. And you can trigger those surveys off of like closed cases, or you could even have your customer service reps send those out once they close the case. So Salesforce actually does, go back one more, sorry. So Salesforce adds new features every release, like I said. So it's really important to check back each release and install new updates. And if you're already a Service Cloud user, it's recommended you set this up or you turn this on in a sandbox when you're ready, just to ensure that your custom setup is not going to be affected. Another new feature that's come out with Salesforce is called incident management. So the incident management setup really gives your agents and service teams full visibility into incidents, cases, and customer data in a single workspace. And it really helps. Its intent is to help your agents deal with being bombarded with frustrated customers. So when a widespread incident occurs, you can actually use incident management to help you analyze the cause, streamline agent operations, and then minimize the downtime, which is where your frustrated customers are coming from. And as part of this incident management, it actually can use AI to help you identify incidents based on high volume of similar incoming cases, and then help you expedite troubleshooting and help you surface learnings from previous cases to the incoming cases for your support people. You can also use this incident management to help you proactively address problems before customers even know that there is a problem by integrating with external systems, help you find and resolve issues before they do have a widespread impact. And it also helps you keep customers in the know. So really helping you build trust and confidence between you and your customers, and then updating the status of their cases. I know that, or we all know that reputation management is really important and high on or is like really top of mind for everybody. So really building trust, confidence, and keeping your customers up to date on service disruptions is extremely important in this day and age. Another new feature that Salesforce has come out with from Service Cloud is something called self-service scheduling. If you do have, people out in the field, or you have, support that you're doing virtually for people, but you're doing it by scheduling meetings, this could be a really powerful tool to help your support people actually focus time on helping people instead of scheduling meetings. So there is a new, really easy to use app that you can install. It's super intuitive, easy to use to help you create and adjust appointments. It actually empowers customers to create, reschedule, cancel, and confirm appointments through digital channels. And that includes like through text. So it can really reduce your call volumes and really help you reschedule no-shows as well. And just like things in Salesforce, it's highly customizable. So you can really customize reminders to go out whenever you want, and enforce restrictions. So like if you don't want people to reschedule more than or less than 24 hours in advance, that's a really easy restriction you can install. But over on the right, you can see kind of the mobile interface that you can install or that you can enable. All right, so this is actually our last topic, and it's a big one. So we all have interacted with a bot, probably more than we even know, right? So I found this interesting statistic about chatbots that in 2022 they're expected to save more than $8 billion in customer support costs, and that's up from only 20 million in 2017. So this is a huge growth area for a lot of businesses. But really, not only do chatbots reduce costs, they also drive impactful improvements in your customer's experience. Chatbots are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they don't have business hours, and they are live and ready whenever your customer wants to talk to you. And a lot of the times they actually will answer customers' questions more quickly and more effectively than human agents can do. So in the winter 22 release, Salesforce actually released its first template to help you launch your chatbots faster. Einstein Bots Enhancement lets you create an intelligent bot in just a few clicks with the pre-built templates, and then relevant dialogues and workflows to handle common service and sales use cases. And it not only allows you to resolve questions and offer quick solutions to common issues, but the real benefit here is that since it's using AI, it's also learning and adapting to customer preferences and actions so that it can better anticipate customer needs and provide more personalized responses. They've also launched, it's in beta, they're teaching your bot to speak multiple languages. So if you are in need of a bot that can, not only be able to speak multiple languages, that is something in beta. But just some common bot use cases we've got listed below. So customer service is obviously like the hottest one. So trying to resolve cases and issues before they actually reach a human. So when I found a really interesting case study, it said when Avis, the car rental company, launched a bot, they were actually able to deflect 2/3 of cases before they actually reached a person. So you can imagine the enormous cost saving and time saving feature that offered them. The next one is sales. If you go on the Salesforce App Exchange, you can actually, a lot of the time, if you say like chat with us now, a lot of the time you're actually talking to a bot that the vendor has created to figure out if you are a qualified lead and like how quickly they can get you to support you through the sales funnel. Also IT service help desks, marketing, and then HR is also a really good one if you are thinking about implementing bots. So that brings us to the end. Kim, do you want to?
Yeah, thanks. I do have a few questions that came in, Turner and Caitlin, if you wouldn't mind answering them for us. The first one is Salesforce going to come out with the ability to add your own forecast category?
Yeah, good question. This is a pain point for, I think, a lot of organizations, but that is currently not on the roadmap for them. So you can customize the naming, I believe, but you can't create additional forecast categories. For that, you would have to manage that through opportunity stages.
Okay, great. Another question I have, it says, can I use restriction rules to restrict access to contacts?
I'm happy to answer this question. So for restriction rules, unfortunately, contacts wouldn't be a part of that fun little feature. You can do like tasks and events on contacts, but just the way that the hierarchy works, that's not available at this time.
Okay. And the last question I have is, when I am in one of my reports, why can't I do inline edits?
Yeah, another great question. So you actually have to turn that on. If you go to setup and you go to reports and dashboards, that's also where you'll turn on dynamic gauge charts as well. It's just a little checkbox. If you don't see it there, there's a chance you might have to reach out to customer support, but I've been finding it for the most part. So.
Great, thank you. Well, I think that wraps up our questions and our presentation for today. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Do remember we will be sharing this recording and the slides if you have any questions. Also, as we close out, there will be a short survey that if you would take just a moment to answer, that would be greatly appreciated. Caitlin and Turner, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.